Hello and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to TEW 2020 WWE. Now in the previous episode we had NXT Takeover, WarGames and Armageddon, the final pay-per-views of 2021, and if you haven't seen those then I'd implore you to go back and watch them because we had some great matches and some massive developments that are going to have to be looked at later in this episode. But it's time to put those pay-per-views in 2021 in the rear end and start off 2022 the only way WWE is start, and that is beginning the road to WrestleMania with its first stop, the Royal Rumble. So we begin the build up to that now, starting off things as usual with Monday Night Raw, and Monday Night Raw starts with a recap of Armageddon here, just going over some of the big Raw things that happened. Ciampa retaining his hardcore title in the Fatal 5-Way against Drew, Sheamus, Riddle and Dunn. Banks defeating Bliss, as well as, of course, as that WarGames main event where the Undisputed Era overcame the team of Owens, Bryan, Ford and Zayn, with Kyle O'Reilly scoring the pin on Daniel Bryan to do so. This little opening recap gets an 89 before we go to the ring and we have the entrance of the WarGames winners, the Undisputed Era, in the ring. Make their way to the ring. Cole getting on the mic and he brags. He says Undisputed Era did exactly what he said they would do. They are the WarGames masters. And so they stepped into that WarGames and they came out on top. Owens, Zayn, Ford, Bryan. They think they're so great. They think they're the best. But they got in the ring with Adam, Cole, Bebe. And they fell. And they felt the pain. And they lost. And Yui and Adam Cole, the WWE champion, came out on top. For an 82, Adam Cole, very self-indulgent with his praise to himself for the WarGames win. You know, maybe ignoring it was a team effort with O'Reilly scoring the pin, but still, Yui coming out on top, Adam Cole, kind of like the pseudo-leader, when they're a brotherhood, but kind of like the pseudo-leader, when they are interrupted by the general manager, Drake Maverick, and he congratulates Undisputed Era on winning the WarGames. He congratulates them on a great effort and a job well done, but he says, Armageddon is in the past and now it's time to look to the future, to the Royal Rumble, where unlike Armageddon, Adam Cole will be defending his WWE Championship. And Maverick says that whilst they lost at WarGames, Owens, Ford, Zayn and Bryan could all reasonably say they deserve a shot at the WWE Championship. Very much says that Kyle O'Reilly pinned Daniel Bryan, and so Bryan was the man who was pinned to lose that WarGames match, and he says okay, but those other three men, they weren't. So what I'm going to do is tonight in the main event, it will be Kevin Owens versus Montez Ford versus Sami Zayn. And the winner, Adam, will fight you at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. A big announcement from Drake Maverick. Adam Cole very much not best pleased with that announcement, but nothing he can do. An 85 for that segment. Very happy with that. As then we go backstage to an interview with the WWE, the Women's World Champion, Sasha Banks, and she is in a great mood. She says Armageddon, she did exactly what she said she was going to do, and she beat Little Miss Bliss. She pounded her into the dirt, and she retained her WWE Women's World Championship because she is what she says she is. She is the blueprint, the best, the boss, and still the WWE Women's World title. And then Kayla saying, was Sasha think of her match later tonight, taking on Zoey Stark, who's been in a great run of form of late, and Sasha kind of laughs and says that Zoey is in a great run of form, as you say, at Kayla, against lesser opponents, but in her debut, when she stepped up to the boss, she got beat. And that's exactly what's going to happen tonight. She's going to get in the ring with me, and I'm going to teach her a lesson and show her maybe if she wants to keep this great run of form, as you say, at Kayla, going, she needs to set her sights a little bit lower than the boss. For an 82. Brave words from Sasha as usual, very full of herself, before a match with Zoey Stark later on. As then we have a tag team match. It is the Sky Pirates taking on the Iconics. Last week it was 6-man tag with Carmella with the Iconics and Zoey Stark with the Sky Pirates, but now they're just taking on each other 2-on-2, both wanting to maybe build some momentum heading to the Rumble, as in the end the Sky Pirates are the ones who come out on top. Io Shirai pinning Peyton Royce following the elbow drop moonsault combo move of the Sky Pirates for a 74. Decent little opening match. Peyton Royce off her game, sadly, getting 49 and a 46 for Kay, but 71 for Zayn and 75 for Shirai. Very happy with that. as the Sky Pirates build a bit of momentum heading towards the Royal Rumble. And then we go backstage to Kayla Braxton now interviewing the new Intercontinental Champion Johnny Gargano, defeated Apollo Crews, of course, at Armageddon to do so. And Gargano is happy. He says that he's happy to win this championship, this historic Intercontinental title. He can't wait to bring some prestige to it. He wants to hold on to it for as long as possible. And he says he's going to be a fighting champion. He says he's going to do with the Intercontinental everything he loves about it. Fast-paced, entertaining, high-quality action that the likes of Seth Rollins and Finn Balor brought to it in recent times. And Johnny says he's going to do everything in his power to be an Intercontinental champion the fans can be proud of for an 80. When Johnny kind of gets distracted and looks off to the side, and into the frame walks the hardcore champion, Tommaso Ciampa. And Ciampa congratulates his former partner, Johnny Gargano. Ciampa clutching the hardcore title to his chest. He says, "Well done, Johnny, on winning the Intercontinental title. I mean, you were a few months late to the party on us winning singles gold, but congrats nonetheless. But I see you're here on Raw now with that belt, and I'm just here to warn you that I run this place. People try to say I don't. Drew, Sheamus, Riddle, Dunn, all four of them tried to say I didn't, but I do. I run this place. I run this division. So you can keep your gold. You can put on your fast-paced, entertaining, high-quality matchups, but just know, Johnny, to stay out of my way for an 88. I mean, you can't have them not interact on the same brand. They both have gold. Gargano and Ciampa forever in each other's orbit. Ciampa congratulating Johnny, but kind of warning him as well to stay out of his way for that 88. Incredible work from these two, as you'd expect probably. As next up we have the earlier mentioned match between Sasha Banks and Zoey Stark, and in the end the Women's World Champ comes out on top after hitting Zoey Stark with her little boss knuckle duster things to stun her, and then hitting a backstabber, locking in the Banks statement and getting the win for an 80. Good match. 87 Banks, 60 Stark, both doing well here. As then after the match, Sasha Banks continues beating down on Zoey Stark, showing her a lesson, showing the people backstage what happens when you think you can step up to the best, to the boss. And that is when the music of Bayley hits. Bayley, not seen since losing in that number one contenders match, I'm pretty sure, against Sasha Banks at just before bragging rights. It might have been SummerSlam, I can't remember. Around that time, it's been quite a while. But Bayley back, rushes to the ring and fights off Sasha Banks to make the save for Zoey Stark here for a 76. A big return for Bayley heading into the Royal Rumble. Sasha Banks says she's the best, but will she be able to keep that gold if, as it looks, she comes up against her former best friend in Bayley? As next up, we have Aleister Black taking on Ricochet. Aleister Black's beef with the MVPs kind of been brewing and building for about a month now over on Raw. And now Aleister Black going head-to-head. Aleister Black wanting Lashley, but having to first get through his former tag team partner for a bit in the form of Ricochet. And in the end, Aleister Black comes out on top, hitting the Black Mass on Ricochet in midair to do so for a 92. What a match from these two. As you'd expect, to be honest, I thought this would do very well. Aleister Black and Ricochet, both very good, aren't they? 83 for Black, 75 Ricochet. Very happy with this. Aleister Black gets his arm raised before being promptly attacked by the MVPs. Lashley and Dawkins beating down on Aleister Black. Lashley locking in the hurt lock, whilst Angelo Dawkins kind of does like some boxing to the chest, you know. I mean, not much he could do to increase the pain that Lashley's inflicting, but still, he'll give it a go. Whilst MVP kind of looks on at Cedric checking on Ricochet. MVP just looking disappointed as Ricochet comes up short, and Cedric checking on him rather than joining in the beatdown on Aleister Black. What will this come to? We'll have to find out. 77 for that. Very happy with these segments from Aleister Black and the MVPs. As then we have an interview with the WWE Champion Adam Cole before the main event, and he says that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Kevin Owens, Montez Ford, Sami Zayn, it doesn't matter, because all of them, because whoever steps in the ring with Adam Cole, the match, the result will be the exact same it was at WarGames, and that's with Adam Cole Bebe's arm raised and the WWE title in his hand. because Adam Cole is the WWE. And so he says he's going to go to ringside, he's going to watch the match, because at the end of the day, Adam Cole, baby, is the WWE champion now and forever for an 88. Adam Cole, cocky as ever, isn't he? But heading to the ring to watch the main event. Next up, the number one contenders triple threat, which hopefully will do very well here. Kevin Owens taking on Montez Ford, taking on Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Montez Ford have both had shots at Adam Cole. They've both got victories over him in the past few months. Sami Zayn hasn't yet, but I mean, with Sami Zayn, never count him out, can you? In the end, though, after a brutal match, goes about 28 minutes, I think, here, your winner and the number one contender to Adam Cole's WWE title at the Royal Rumble is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, in the end, managing to hit Sami Zayn with a stunner and pick up the win for a 93. What a match. Alistair Black and Ricochet put on a clinic, and still, this manages to be match of the night. Very happy. Owens with the 91, 79 Ford, and an 85 for Zayn. What a match, what a main event. As Kevin Owens picks up the win and will face Adam Cole for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble after the match. Owens gets his arm raised, and Adam Cole, as confident and cocky as he sounded, does not look happy at the prospect of getting in the ring with Kevin Owens once more for an 87. A very good episode of Raw here to get things going on the road to the Royal Rumble, to get things started on the first stop on the road to WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble. Overall, getting a rating of 91, increase up in 20 regions. Not surprised. Those last two matches, especially the Triple Threat and Black Ricochet, doing incredible. And I'm very happy with that. And hopefully we can keep up these high ratings next up as we see the fallout from WarGames and begin the build-up to Royal Rumble over on NXT. And NXT getting underway with a recap of the events from TakeOver WarGames. A big pay-per-view. Yes, things such as Legado winning in WarGames, Carmelo Hayes retaining his North American title against Velveteen Dream, Orton beating Thatcher by a DQ after Thatcher refused to break the submission hold. He kept it on. William Regal had to come out and break it in the end. Regal said in an interview afterwards that he would be sanctioning Timothy Thatcher tonight. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Gable and Rollins for the NXT Championship, with Gable after an incredible match coming out on top to retain the gold. And of course, the 4v4 Women's WarGames main event, where Tegan Nox won for her team by pinning the NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez, an 89 for that very, very good recap. And then we go to William Regal, not talking about Thatcher yet, announces a big match for tonight, a three-way contenders match. He says that it will be Tegan Nox versus Candice LeRae versus Mickie James. He says Tegan Nox got the pin, Candice LeRae was on the winning team, and Mickie James was not on the winning team, but she wasn't pinned. She was in the match, she put on a great performance, so she is being added as well. And so it will be a triple threat number one contenders match, and the winner will earn the right to take on Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble for a 65. Nice little opening segment here. Good match announced for later. They'll hopefully do very well. As next up we have Indy Hartwell taking on Toni Storm. Indy Hartwell having her recent breakup with Mickie James. With Mickie James turning on her. Indy going out for it on her own now, taking on Toni Storm. And in the end, Toni Storm picks up the win with the Storm 0 for a 58. Good match. 46 Hartwell, 54 Storm. Happy with this. Toni getting the win on her new brand. Her first win. Maybe unsure of that. But coming out on top over Hartwell here. In a decent little match, I'd say, with a 58. I wasn't expecting the world from it. Then we go backstage to Damian Priest talking to Caleb Braxton. And Priest is in a good mood. He says he's been partying since Saturday after his victory over Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, this big, tough guy, former NXT champion. And yet, at NXT TakeOver WarGames, Priest wasn't falling and praying. Priest was standing victorious. And Priest says this is the start, this is the beginning. He's beat Kross, and now his eyes on to what's next. And he says what's next in his immediate future is Dexter Lumis, taking him on. Next up, a 79 for this segment. Good work from Priest on the mic here. Then heading to the ring for his match with Dexter Lumis. And in the end, Damian Priest picking up the win with the Reckoning after DFG. Carmelo Hayes Eli Cassidy and Marcus Reddin came out, provided a distraction to Dexter, Damian Priest, allowing Damian Priest to hit him with the Reckoning and pick up another big win for a 77. Really good match. 72 Priest and a 59 for Loomis. I'm very happy with that, as Damian Priest continues picking up the wins, continues building some momentum here on NXT following his return last month. Then we go backstage once more, and Legado is celebrating. They're in a good mood. They won WarGames. They beat Cesaro and the Mysterios. They beat MSK, and they are very, very happy. Andrade says that they have finally dealt with the joke that is MSK once and for all when he pinned Wesley in that WarGames match. And he said they technically defeated Mysterios and Cesaro as well, but he says he wants to properly deal with all of them. And so he says that whilst MSK are out the way, MSK can be forgotten. Cesaro, Ray, Dominic, well, they should watch their back for a 90 here. Amazing promo as ever from Andrade. Absolute MVP for me so far this year, and so far in this universe in general, the Cruiserweight Champion. As next up we have another singles match. It is this time Cora Jade taking on Kacy Catanzaro. Cora Jade's mentor, Candice LeRae, in the main event, so will not be with her, but Cora Jade going out on her own here a little bit, taking on Kacy Catanzaro one-on-one, and the young upstart Cora Jade gets the win over Kacy for a 52. Decent match for these two. Once again, didn't expect the world from it, but I'm happy with the 52. 40 Jade, 49 Catanzaro. Cora Jade picks up another good victory here. The mentoring of Candice LeRae very clearly helping Cora Jade as she gets the win. As then we go backstage again. Kayla Braxton knocking on William Regal's office door. Regal opening and Kayla Braxton asking William Regal about Timothy Thatcher. She says that at TakeOver WarGames, we all saw Thatcher's actions, and Regal had to intervene himself. And when Kayla asked him at WarGames, he said that there will be consequences for Thatcher, and he'd announce them tonight. So when will he be announcing them? William Regal assures her that later tonight, after the main event, after all of that is out of the way, William Regal will head to the ring. He will invite Thatcher down, and then William Regal will reveal the actions that he is undertaking after Thatcher's brutal disregard for the rules and for the law and everything at WarGames against Randy Orton for a 67. Very happy with this once again. William Regal heavily involved tonight, and doing pretty well, I'd say. As next up we have Austin Theory taking on Cesaro. A good match between two drafted superstars over from Smackdown to NXT, going at it. Cesaro, you know, looking like he's going to win. When Legado's music hit and Andrade comes out onto the ramp, Cesaro gets a bit distracted, and it allows Austin Theory to roll him up and get a shock victory here over Cesaro for a 78. Happy with that. Good match. 64 Theory, 75 Cesaro. Austin Theory, a big win. Austin Theory afterwards celebrating very wildly over this win over Cesaro, whilst Andrade taunts Cesaro. Andrade said he'd deal with Cesaro and the Mysterios, and it looks like he's saying his lights on Cesaro first here for having the audacity to disrespect and step up to him in the build-up to WarGames. 82 for that match, and very happy with that. As tonight keeps on ticking away, we head backstage and we have DFG very happy, and then they kind of stop smiling when they bump into Mark Henry, not seen since the build-up to Super Showdown. Mark Henry suited up, and he congratulates Hayes, Cassidy, and Red. He says he sees what they're doing here on NXT, and they're doing incredible. Carmelo Hayes, of course, NXT North American champion, so early in his career. It's great to see 3 young superstars absolutely thriving like this, and he says DFG, Destined for Greatness, is a very apt name for them. He says that at some point, especially with them climbing so quickly up the card, they're going to have to realise not everything can be a joke, you know? Messing around with Dream and Loomis and Scott like that in the ring, okay, but outside of it, maybe you should focus on other things. And, you know, they look like they're taking his words seriously. It's Mark Henry, a wrestling legend. And Mark Henry looks like he's going to walk off when he stops and says just one more thing. And he says that they say they're destined for greatness. Mark Henry knows 2 more people destined for greatness, and he asks Hayes, Cassidy, and Reddin to look out for them here on NXT. And in walks to frame new signings, Anthony Ogogo and Jade Cargill. 2 massive signings here. to WWE, introduced here on NXT. Henry asking DFG to look out for them. DFG maybe a bit hesitant, you know, these two superstars they know nothing about. But, you know, if Mark Henry's giving them the thumbs up of approval, you'd give him a go, wouldn't you? Anthony Gogo debuted his fighter gimmick to a rating of very good, and Jade Cargill debated her cocky gimmick to an initial rating of great. So both of their gimmicks a really good start for a 68. I'm very happy. Looking forward to what Gogo and Cargill will do here in WWE. As now we have the main event, the Triple Threat Contenders match between Candice LeRae, Mickie James, and Tegan Nox, and in the end, the winner and the woman who will be taking on Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble is Tegan Nox. She pinned Raquel Gonzalez at WarGames, and now she has earned her right to try and do it again, this time with the NXT Women's title on the line for a 78. Really good match. Nox pinning Mickie James in the end with the Welsh Destroyer. 77 Nox, 60 LeRae, 50 James. Very happy with this. Tegan Nox will get that one-on-one match with Gonzalez she so desperately wanted. And will she come out on top? We will have to wait and see, but I'm sure either way the match will be very good at the Royal Rumble. As then out comes William Regal to the ring, and he demands Timothy Thatcher come out as well for a 45, and Timothy Thatcher does come out. He enters to confront Regal, to ask Regal who he wants, and Regal says what Thatcher did at WarGames is unacceptable. You know, he should have broke the hold to continue the match, but if you want to keep that on, if you want to get disqualified, you want to be an idiot, then go ahead. But when the road agents come out, when the security come out, when the referees are there and they're all telling you to break the hold, you don't hold it for minutes more until I have to come out to stop things. That's not how I run things here on NXT. And Thatcher just kind of laughing it off and saying that William Regal thinks he's hard, thinks he's tough, and maybe 10, 15 years ago he was, but now he's just a washed up old man. He's not a has-been. He's a never was. Because Timothy Thatcher, in 9 months since Mania, has done things Regal could have only dreamed of doing for a 64 here. And then Regal says that Thatcher can insult him, can do what he wants, it doesn't matter. But Regal says he's struggling with what to do with Thatcher here, to fine him, to suspend him, to do some more. And Thatcher gets into Regal's face and he says to fire me. Thatcher dares Regal to fire him, because Thatcher says that the second those words leave Regal's mouth, the second he's no longer an employee of Regal, Regal's no longer his boss, well then the fun will really begin for Thatcher for 59, and that is when the music of the NXT champion Chad Gable hits, and he storms out to the ring and gets between Regal and Thatcher, kind of moving Regal out the way and getting into Thatcher's face for an 85 here. And then the NXT champion Chad Gable tells Regal not to fire Thatcher. He says leave him employed, fine him if you want to, but don't even suspend him, because I want to deal with him. For the disrespect he showed you, for what he did to Randy, I want to deal with him next week. And Regal says okay, so next week will be the NXT champion Chad Gable taking on Timothy Thatcher in what is sure to be a really good match. An 80 for that segment, and NXT, which overall gets an 83. Decent show. Happy enough with that. I mean, a lot of lower rated matches because, you know, kind of trying to build people up heading into the Rumble. You know, filling out 2 Rumble matches. I want to build people up a bit, you know. So I'll take the 83 and the increase in pop in 4 regions. Happy enough with that, as the road to WrestleMania and the road to the Royal Rumble more immediately continues here on NXT. And hopefully we can end the week well as we look at the fallout from Armageddon and start the build-up to the Royal Rumble in its own right over on Smackdown. And Smackdown gets underway with a little video from Paige's office. Paige just talking to the camera, and Paige announces that due to Alfonso Bourbon's injury on last week's episode, him and Socrates Torres Spanish Fly must relinquish the Smackdown Tag Team titles, so they have been officially vacated. And that leaves us needing new champions. And Paige says there are plenty of worthy challengers. And so she announces that in the next 4 weeks, there will be 4 tag team matches. And the winners of each, with the winners of each, competing at the Royal Rumble in a fatal 4-way tag team match to crown new Smackdown Tag Team Champions. 461, big announcement from Paige. Still very upset and disappointed that Spanish Fly have had to relinquish their titles, but nothing I can do about it in the end. Have to vacate it, have to pivot from the original plan, and so having a little mini tournament, I guess, having a hopefully good Fatal 4-Way match at the Royal Rumble is how we're going to find our new champs. And then we have the entrance of Xavier Woods, the new United States champion, and Mustafa Ali, and they enter out to a chorus of deafening boos that it gets to the point where they just stop playing his music, and it's kind of Tommaso Ciampa after he just betrayed Donny Gargano-esque. It's just boos as Xavier Woods and Mustafa Ali walk to the ring for a 73, and then for a 92, Xavier Woods explains his actions. He says that you go back to the beginning of the New Day. Xavier Woods recruiting. You go back to the beginning of the New Day. Xavier Woods recruiting Kofi and Big E. He says they were floundering. They were going nowhere, but then Xavier Woods plucked them from the obscurity they lived in and formed the New Day with them. He says he was his brainchild, he was the mastermind. And they won countless tag team titles, the greatest faction of all time, he says. But that wasn't enough for Kofi and Big E. And Kofi had his moment at WrestleMania 35, winning the WWE title. We celebrated, we were so happy for him. And then Big E had his moment at WrestleMania 37, and we celebrated, and we were so happy for him, but where's my moment? No, because at SummerSlam, what did Big E say? He said that he wanted to give a WWE Championship opportunity, a Universal title opportunity to someone who deserved it, someone who had earned it, who waited so long. And I, as I'm sure most of you did, thought he was talking about me, the man he owes his career to. But he wasn't. He was talking about Kofi. Kofi who had his moment. Kofi who had his spotlight. Whilst I was forgotten. Just like they were before I helped them. And so I had enough. That was when I decided that was it. And that's when I met Mustafa. Another like-minded individual like me who had enough. Because you see, Mustafa was screwed of his moment, wasn't he? WrestleMania 35, that should have been him. If he didn't get injured, it would have been. It would have been Mustafa Ali, Daniel Bryan. He would have had his moment in the spotlight. He would have been WWE Champion. He didn't get that. And did Kofi thank him for allowing him to take that spotlight? No. Did Kofi give Mustafa his rightful shot at the WWE Championship? No. And yet, no one cared. No one cared. No one cared about me. No one cared about Mustafa. They were just happy for Big E and Kofi Kingston. And I couldn't do it anymore. So that's why at Bragging Rights I smashed that lead pipe into Big E's back, and oh, it felt so, so good. And that's why at Survivor Series, whilst I distracted Kofi backstage, Mustafa smashed Big E in the back once more. And how did it feel, Mustafa? Mustafa says it felt so, so good. And Xavier Woods, that's why Armageddon, Mustafa finally got his chance, his revenge on Kofi. And the euphoria he felt, oh, I assure you, he loved it. And that's how I got this, and he rubs the US title that's around his waist. That's how I got my moment in the spotlight. And then all that was left was making sure Big E didn't get his again. And that's why I stayed at ringside, because the idiot would never see it coming, would he? Xavier Woods, he'd never have the brains to think of me behind this all. Despite the fact I was brains behind the New Day, behind Kofi, behind him getting anywhere in this business, he didn't suspect it. And he ripped off Mustafa's mask, and maybe that wasn't the plan, but you know what? It was long past due. Because that look on his face was priceless. And the feeling I got when I smashed my hard-earned United States title into that stupid face of his, well, that was priceless as well. This is my moment now. Big E, Kofi, they have nothing, and I am the one with the championship around my waist. And Big E and Kofi can be mad, they can be upset, they can come for me all they want. But me and Mustafa have had enough of waiting in line, of watching those two in the spotlight. This is our time. This is our moment. We are on top now, and nothing will change that. For a 92, a very, very long promo, but for the magnitude of the moment, I feel it's deserved. Xavier Woods explaining his actions. I'm not going to go over it again because, Jesus Christ, that took a while, but very happy with that. For the 92 as well, Xavier Woods, a master on the mic, as well as Mustafa, as the new United States champion, gets a lot off his chest there. As well, let's head into some matches, because that did take a while. First up, we have No Mercy, Shayna Baszler and Tainara Conti taking on the team of Doudrop and Mia Yim. And with Shayna Baszler watching on, No Mercy pick up the win after Sonya Deville submitted Mia Yim with the Kimura lock. For a 63, decent little opener, 63 Sonya, 50 Tai, 50 Conti, 48 Doudrop, 39 Yim. Happy with that, as then after the match, Shayna Baszler gets in the ring and says that this is no mercy, this is dominance. He says that Sonya and Tay are going to win back the women's tag titles, and then they'll have all of the gold. And this time around, no one's going to take them from him when Asuka makes her way out. And Asuka gets in the ring, no fear, squaring up with No Mercy, and says she wants to fight Shayna. She says she took the title from Shayna last time, and she's going to take it from her this time. For an 81, Asuka, no fear in the face of No Mercy there, issuing the challenge to Shayna. Will Shayna accept? You'd have to think so. As we go backstage to Roman Reigns, and Roman says Cena's been dealt with. Cena ran his mouth, Cena got involved, and Cena got smashed, and Cena got stacked, and Cena got pinned, and Roman came out on top, and now Cena's in the past where he belongs. And Roman's looking to the future, he's looking to the Rumble, because Roman Reigns says he's winning the Rumble this time. He's not coming second, he's coming first, and he's going to go to WrestleMania, and he's going to smash any champion he wants and get a world title round his waist. And he says Jimmy and Jay are going to win the tag titles as well, and when the Bloodline have all the gold, everyone will have to acknowledge him. For an 82, good promo from Reigns, as then we have an interview with Thaddeus Bullard. Thaddeus Bullard talking about Armageddon, saying he beat Big E again. Big E defeated twice now by Bullard, and Bullard says that's why this Universal is staying where it is, because he's the top dog around here. Because no one messes with him, and no one messes with the Bullard brand. When Keith Lee walks in the crowd, very happy at that. And Keith Lee says that Bullard says that no one messes with the Bullard brand, and yet LA Knight was defeated by Keith Lee. And Keith Lee says he'll happily beat any number of members of the Bullard brands that Mr. Bullard wants. But at the end of that road, Keith Lee assures Thaddeus Bullard that he will be taking that Universal title from him, and Cameron Grimes walks in not happy about Keith Lee disrespecting Mr. Bullard like this, and Cameron Grimes issuing a challenge, saying he's going to teach Keith Lee a lesson in respect, and Keith Lee happily accepts for an 87. Very happy with that, as Keith Lee going head to head with Cameron Grimes later tonight. As next up, we do have a match in the tag team title tournament. The first match is the Usos taking on Heavy Machinery, and the team advancing to that fatal four-way tag team match for the vacant Smackdown tag team titles is the Usos. Hitting Tucker with a double Samoan splash to pick up the win for a 78. The Usos, Roman says the Usos are going to be the next tag champs, and they move one step closer. 83 Jay, 78 Jimmy, 49 Otis, 41 Tucker. Happy with this. Good little match from these guys. As then, we go backstage to Bronson Reed and Pro, and Bronson Reed having a good start to things on SmackDown, dealing with the Dirty Dogs, and now he set his attention to the Rumble. He says he wants to win the Rumble. His first Royal Rumble match he's entering, and he says he's going to go all the way. He's going to give everything he's got. When Samoa Joe walks in kind of laughing, and Bronson Reed asks if something's funny, and Samoa Joe says, "Kid, that ain't you." And telling him if he wants a lesson in wrestling, to watch this before heading out the curtain into the ring for his match next for 69. Samoa Joe taking on Lars Sullivan, and Samoa Joe picking up the win with the Coquina clutch for a 73. Good little match, 40 Lars, 73 Joe. Happy with this as Joe gets the win. And then Bronson Reed does come out and he goes past Samoa Joe on the ramp, and Reed tells Joe, watch this then. Reed says to Joe, you think that's wrestling? Watch this then for a 79. Samoa Joe staying around to watch as Bronson Reed takes on Braun Strowman and defeats Braun Strowman, hitting Strowman with the tsunami for the win for a 77 here. 81 Strowman, 72 Reed. Another good victory for Reed, as after the match, Reed exits the ring and goes past Joe, telling him that that is how it's done. A little bit of one-upmanship between Reed and Joe here, as both men turn their attentions to the Royal Rumble at the end of the month for an 89. Really, really good segment there, actually, I've noticed. Before we have the main event. It is Cameron Grimes taking on Keith Lee. Keith Lee has dealt with LA Knight. One member of the Bullard brand is down, and now taking on Cameron Grimes, who will come out on top in the end, maybe expectedly. It's Keith Lee for a 93. Just over 17 minutes. What a match. Keith Lee hitting Cameron Grimes with the Big Bang Catastrophe and picking up the win for that incredible rating as well. 74 Grimes, doing really well, Grimes. And the 86 from Lee as well. Very, very happy with this as Keith Lee comes out on top, taking down another member of the Bullard brand. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes both down now, making his way slowly towards Thaddeus Bullard, who comes out onto the stage, and him and Lee stare down Keith Lee. Very happy. Bullard not too impressed for an 83 here. When, the graphic shows at the bottom, the commentators sign off, but all of a sudden, what's going on here? As the lights start to flicker and smoke starts to pour out of the stage and around Bullard's feet. Him and Heyman are looking around like, what the hell is this? For an 87. Very mysterious, very ominous. I wonder who this could be or what this could be about. As that finishes SmackDown. Afterwards, we also have a little bit of talking smack, just because some people need to improve their mic skills, to be honest with you. Kayla Braxton and Paige hosting. No Mercy talking about their win. Shayna talking about Asuka, saying that Asuka is a joke. Asuka got lucky earlier in this year, and if she wants to go against Shayna, well, Shayna will teach her a lesson. Bronson Reed, very happy as well. It's meant to be Samoa Joe and not Santana Garrett, if you can guess. But Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe, individually, never on screen at the same time here, staying apart. Both talking about wanting to win the Rumble and both kind of dissing the other guy as well for a 63. Just a nice little talking smack thing here to end the show, as the first SmackDown of 2022 gets a 91, increase up in 24 regions. Really happy with this. What a show. The 91 after that 93 main event between Keith Lee and Cameron Grimes. What a start to the year here in this first week of wrestling. I'm very happy with it. As we begin the road to WrestleMania, and in particular, the first stop on that road, the Royal Rumble, with a very, very good week of action here. And I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, and thank you for watching.